All right. How's everybody doing? I am G, the seeker of truth. This is Spiritual Stake. And yes, your spirit is at stake. Now, we've been going through our Bible breakdown here. We're still in the second book of the Bible, Exodus. We're in chapter 24. A quick overview of 23. We got more laws, we got more policies, we got more procedures. We are told of how not to go and bear false witness, how we are not to serve other gods. And matter of fact, in 23 and 23, he say, "For my angel shall go before thee and bring thee unto the Amorites and the Hittites and the Canaanites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, and I will cut them off. Thou shalt not bow down to their God, nor serve them, nor do after their works, but thou shalt utterly overthrow them and quite break down their images." So these are just one of the policies, the audience of the land, as they say, the audience, I don't say it right, audience. Y'all know how to spell it though, ORIDANCE, something like that. Yeah, but y'all know what I'm saying. Anywho, this is the audience of the land. So, just like in 22, and this is all stemming from Moses coming down from Mount Sinai after visiting with the Most High and receiving instructions on what to tell the children of Israel. And so, there's, like I say, just a quick overview of 23. 23 were broken into two parts. I ran out of storage. But we back here right now, and we ready to get on into it. So y'all know how to do it. If y'all gonna fire up, go ahead on and fire up. And with no further ado, we're going into Exodus chapter 24. And he said unto Moses, "Come up unto the Lord, thou and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel, and worship ye afar off. And Moses alone shall come near the Lord, but they shall not come nigh, neither shall the people go up with him." And Moses came and told the people all the words of the Lord and all the judgments, and all the people answered with one voice and said, "All the words which the Lord has said will we do." And Moses wrote all the words of the Lord, and rose up early in the morning and built an altar under the hill and 12 pillars, according to the 12 tribes of Israel. And he sent young men of the children of Israel, which offered burnt offerings and sacrificed peace offerings of oxen unto the Lord. And Moses took half of the blood and put it in basins, and half of the blood he sprinkled on the altar. And he took the book of the covenant and read in the audience of the people. And they said, "All that the Lord has said will we do, and be obedient." And Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people and said, "Behold, the blood of the covenant which the Lord hath made with you concerning all these words." Then one of Moses and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel. And they saw the God of Israel, and there was under his feet as it were a paved work of sapphire stones, and as it were the body of heaven in his clearness. And upon the nobles of the children of Israel he laid not his hand. Also they saw God, and did eat and drink. Now here go my question, because I remember coming up when they was telling us in the church that had no man seen his face and lived. Unless I just got a misunderstanding of what I just read. It say, upon the nobles of the children of Israel, he laid out his hands. Also, they saw God and did eat and drink. So, in that, if they saw God, which will be Moses, matter of fact, now, I know the first thing a person would say is that, well, they never really seen, they was just in the presence of God. But that ain't what the word said, though. And then if you want to get on another level, they were like, well, they didn't see with their physical eyes, they saw with their spiritual eyes. Okay, well, did that go back to them saying that no man has ever saw? And then the only way that you can make that of any type of truth That no man will be to say that, well, once you are in the spiritual form, you are no longer of the physical nature. You see? So it's an argument for every argument, but I'm going back to the initial statement that was made. Verse 12. And the Lord said unto Moses, come up to me into the mount and be there, and I will give thee tablets of stone and a law and commandments which I have written, that thou mayest teach them. And Moses rose up, and his minister Joshua and Moses went up into the mount of God. And he said unto the elders, tarry ye here for us until we come again unto you. And behold, Aaron and Hur are with you. If any man have any matters to do, let him come unto them. And Moses went up into the mount, and a cloud covered the mount. And the glory of the Lord abode upon Mount Sinai, and the cloud covered it 6 days. And the 7th day he called unto Moses out of the midst of the cloud. And the sight of the glory of the Lord was like devouring fire on the top of the mount in the eyes of the children of Israel. And Moses went into the midst of the cloud and gat him up into the mount. And Moses was in the mount 40 days and 40 nights. So, what are we learning? That's the end of 24. It was a very short chapter. If I can say anything, I say this. If Moses wrote the book of Exodus, he had to be high, or he had to be having a couple of out-of-body experiences, because we already covered Moses going up into the mountain and him with God, and they had the lad that told him that can't nobody come up there but him and Aaron. We already went through this back in chapter 20, if I'm not mistaken. Right? So what is the purpose of the way it's written? Or is this the proof that these are events written by different people and accredited to one person? But like I say, that was the end of 24. And apparently, this is Moses' first time going into the mount. He's going to be up here for 40 days and for 40 nights. I really got half a mind to go back. Hold on real quick. Because I know we already talked about Moses coming down from this mountain. It was not in 20 though. We're gonna go through there, but I ain't gonna hold the video up. When I find it, we're gonna come back to it. I'm gonna let you know, and I'm gonna tell you if I was tweaking or I wasn't tweaking, because there's a thin line between tweaking, between tweaking and not tweaking. But anyway, to sum up chapter 24, they give a description on what the Most High looks like. We find out in 24 that 70 of the elders of the children of Israel, along with Moses and Aaron and Nadab and Abihu, all were present, all around Moses. And it said, even though the scriptures before that said that Moses told the children of Israel and everybody else they were not allowed to come into this certain area, that in verse 11 that they saw God and eat and drink. So which takes me back to my initial topic of, could this be these events wrote by two different people? Or, now let's go all the way back. Now we know that the Bible, when it came over into the ownership in which it came over to, that there were 67 scholars and clergymen and eldermen of the church that were called in, and they all had the Bible And they was sitting in the room and they all read and they all gave their own interpretation on what they thought that it was saying. And if you, with that information in mind, and then you reading the scripture, it kind of make that seem a little bit more believable because we backdoored ourselves. But you would never know that if you didn't go through the whole Bible, book by book, scripture by scripture, chapter by chapter. Which it might be a reading they don't ever go through the whole book, book by book, chapter by chapter, scripture by scripture. But that's what we do. We breaking it down to the lowest common denominator. We finding truth. I am G, the seeker of truth. This here is Spiritual State. And until next time, y'all stay elevated.